This review has been brought to you in part by Main Irish Airsoft.
Hey YouTubers, welcome back to Ollie's Airsoft, and in this episode we're going to be reviewing another sniper rifle. In this case it is the Steyr SSG 69P2 from ASG. Now I've no idea who OEMs this gun for ASG. Usually you get some indication, but in this case I don't. So start off by saying this is actually a Sportline sniper. So to me the finish isn't as good as I've seen on other sniper rifles, but that's to be expected because in Ireland this only cost €90. And you know, you can see that it's only €90 worth. You know, the build quality, as I say, isn't up there with some of the other snipers I've seen. But you know what, the proof is in the pudding really. How does it shoot? That's the main thing, so we'll have a look at that later. So in the box you get the usual accessories. You know, you get the tools necessary to put this thing together because it doesn't come pre-assembled. You actually get a pair of shooting glasses, but they're not Z87.1 standard, so while they're fine probably for plinking out the back garden, I wouldn't necessarily use them in a skirmish. You get the usual bag of BBs, a sling and so forth. So, but you don't get a scope, so you will need to provide your own scope with this for this gun if you're going to use it as a sniper rifle. As I say, it is a Sportline model, and you can see it when you pick it up. You know, the plastics feel maybe not quite as firm or as well made as some other guns on the market. But one thing you do get, if you're into that sort of thing, you do get the Steyr Mannlicher trades stamped onto the body, which, if you like that sort of thing, is going to be a plus. The action on this rifle is pretty nice, but it does take a hefty pull. So one of the things I found was that while it was a nice action and it was relatively easy to operate, staying on target while pulling the bolt back wasn't an easy thing to do, so you will have to reacquire the target between shots. Now you're not going to go miles off, but I found you couldn't stay exactly on target when you're pulling the bolt. One issue I did have with this gun, out of the box the hop wasn't working properly, so it did need to be addressed. And even once it was sorted, I still found it a little bit fiddly to really fine tune. Having said that, I mean, the results I got from it were pretty damn good. So you know, if you take the time to actually adjust the hop correctly to the settings that you need it at and zero in your scope, this gun does actually perform quite nicely. So moving nicely along, we'll actually have a look at how it fired. Alright, so as you can see, they're all centre mass hits. Now what I did in order to shoot this was, I probably shot around a mag and a half just to zero in the scope, to get it some way zeroed, so I was happy enough that I could reproduce the shots. I then refilled the mag, 25 shots, and there's the result. As I say, all centre mass. That's pretty good. Okay, it was a pretty good day for shooting. It was nice and calm, with only slight breezes every now and again, but that's pretty respectable. The BBs I used were ASG Goldfire in 0.2 gram. You know, they're sort of middle of the road BB, and as I say, they're only 0.2s. A lot of snipers are going to be using heavier BBs than that for stability. As with the previous reviews I've done on snipers, this was shot at 25 yards. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, oh well, 25 yards, that's not very far, but you know what, I think that's going to be an average engagement distance for snipers here in Ireland. You have to remember that we're restricted to the 1 joule limit, which is around about 100 meters a second or 328 feet per second with 0.2 gram BBs. So you know, once you bring it up to slightly heavier BBs for more stable flight, I think 25 to 30 yards is going to be an average distance for Irish airsofters. So yeah, it may have started off that I wasn't keen on this rifle. Yes, it is a little bit plastic. You can definitely tell it's a Sportline versus a Proline rifle, but there are some nice features on it. You get the usual, you know, extensions to it if you want to extend the the butt to make it more comfortable. And one thing I do like is that on the it provides a little bit of rail interface here, so it's going to be easier to source a bipod to put on this rather than some of the little more fiddly nubs that you can get on a lot of sniper rifles. So I like that feature. The rail on top, obviously you're going to need to fit your own scope. It was solid, it didn't have any issues at all fitting my 3-9 by 40. And as I say, once I zeroed it in, it was all good. I still think the hop is a little bit fiddly, but it is worth making the effort to actually get it dialed in properly. Now the magazine, your standard 25 round. I found it a little bit fiddly to insert it, but you know what? You're not going to be doing that too much in a skirmish, so it's not going to be an issue really. So that's it really. Started off visually, wasn't too thrilled with it, but I think the results speak for themselves, and I was very impressed with the results I was able to get out of this once I spent the time to actually fine tune the hop and zero the scope. So as a Sportline sniper, and remember it's only €90, I think it's a pretty good value considering the performance it gives you out of the box. So consider it if you're in the market for a sniper, but you know, as we've said many times before, if you're just getting into airsofting, sniping isn't necessarily the best thing for you. I recommend that you start off with an AEG and go from there. But if you're looking for something to plink with in the back garden or a starter gun to work on as a project, yeah, pretty good value. So that's it from Ronnie's Airsoft, and we'll see you next time.